But Floyd's a great fighter. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He had 50 fights, and he said,
Wow.
So don't tell me about you the greatest fighter with 50-0, nigga. You're great, no doubt about it, nigga. 50-0.
Nah.
So watch it. I'm gonna watch him fighting Mike. I think that's crazy. He's gonna have an exhibition with Tyson, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mike is so much bigger than him.
Yeah,
he's
but
so much bigger than him.
he's not gonna land a fist on Mayweather.
Right.
It's not after his last performance.
We were excited about you and Floyd. Is that still happening, or is that?
Yeah, it's happening. Yeah, it's happening. You think I give that up? I was minding my business. He challenged me.
You look good. How you feeling physically?
Incredible.
You've been training?
Listen, I was wearing an extra large. It looks like I could wear large now.
Joe Rogan leans back during the discussion, and you can almost sense the analytical gears turning as the idea of Floyd Mayweather facing Mike Tyson is tossed onto the table like a philosophical fight puzzle rather than just another typical matchup.
But it's crazy also to see him fight at 57 years old. Like, that's
Yeah, but
nuts.
still, like, he shouldn't have been in there at all. I think it's other ways.
Yeah.
It's other ways for.
I mean, what did he get?
People.
He got at least 20, right?
Yeah, but still, I think.
I think he needed
all
that money.
Yeah, but with all his connections and things like that, I think people could have put him in the right position to make some money.
If he's got people with him that are looking out for his best interest, but you know how it is. When there's a guy like that, that's a big name, usually everybody around him pretends they're looking out for their best interest, but there's always lawsuits later on. You find out someone was stealing money or not paying him what he deserved. There's always a bunch of bullshit involved.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, especially if you're not business-minded, which I don't know if Mike is, but most fighters aren't. Most fighters concentrate on fighting.
Mm-hmm.
To be business-minded, that's a giant distraction. You got to pay attention to all this other on top of that. It's generally not how they think.
Right.
I mean, look at Floyd. Like, Floyd spends money like it's a tap. Like he's
Joe basically says, look, skill for skill, Floyd is a defensive anomaly. That immediately shifts the tone from pure hype to technical breakdown, because now the conversation revolves around angles, reflexes, and survival instincts rather than just raw power highlights.
more money than any boxer ever. Like, there's all these lawsuits. Like, he hasn't been paying things, and he owes money on this and owes money on that. And it's like, and then he's got to come out of retirement.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. I think it's just the lifestyle that Floyd lived.
Yes.
I think he can't fathom to just live a modest lifestyle. It's like he gotta be lavish.
Right. He's got to have those videos where he shows you all the watches, where he opens the case up, you know.
All the money. He gotta show that he got $1 million in his backpack. And, he got the latest watch.
Tyson, calm but intense, drops a short line like, if I catch him, it's different. Suddenly, the whole conversation shifts toward the idea of danger rather than just a fantasy matchup. Joe fires back with something like, but catching Floyd is like trying to tag smoke, which comes off as both hilarious and painfully accurate at the same time.
Mayweather.
Yes.
But they like
Mike
money.
Tyson and Mayweather don't like each other.
Huh.
If there's a fight that might be real, like where Mike Tyson might say, I'm going to knock her out, or I'm going to try to knock this
Would be
out.
Floyd? They wouldn't fight.
Yeah, because if you look at like the Jake Paul fight,
They're
no
fighting.
disrespect. And if you look at the Roy Jones fight, no disrespect.
Yeah.
They look like they were sparring.
Yeah.
Right? It looked like there was agreements made.
Yeah. Working.
I do not know if Mike would honor any of those agreements.
Really?
If there was a moment
They've
to
had beef
crack.
for years.
Yeah. If there was a moment
Really?
to really... Could he hit him? I mean, that little can move still at 50 years old.
Yeah.
He's so slick.
Yep.
He's still in shape. He's
Yeah,
still
they're
fit.
both old as But this is the box.
Then Tyson, half smiling, suggests that pressure can change everything. That's when the clash of ideologies really gets interesting. Elusive genius versus relentless destruction. There's no shouting and no theatrics, just two fight minds calmly dissecting chaos. One praises precision while the other respects timing. And the more they talk, the matchup stops sounding absurd and begins to feel strangely strategic.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it is weird. It's money grabs. I don't like it, but it's fun. It's something to
I'll
watch.
tune. I'll hate on it, but I'll tune in.
Yeah, I'll tune in. It's but it's
That calm, Chessboard-style breakdown, Joe and Mike were hinting it suddenly shifts into a completely different frequency the moment Porter's crew joins the conversation, because now it's less about fantasy matchups and more about embracing the spectacle side of the sport itself. Porter essentially frames Tyson versus Floyd like a Vegas residency, and it's such a clever analogy that it quietly disarms the outrage almost instantly.
But they're not done. What I mean by not done, because then, that's a boxing term, so maybe someone thinks I mean like they can physically fight with the youth. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying in their mind, competitively, they're not done yet.
The passion is still pushing.
It's still there, so let them do them. It doesn't bother anybody. I don't get it. Like, I watched Poe and Pacquiao.
He's not saying it's peak competition. He's saying it's curated entertainment with a built-in audience. And honestly, that's a brutally honest lens. When he says, if it don't apply, let it fly. I'm sitting here thinking that might be the cleanest summary of modern exhibition boxing logic we've heard so far. Then the whole old guys league idea comes up, and it sounds half joke, half genius. Because competitively, they admit these legends aren't chasing young lions anymore. They're chasing that internal fire that never really turns off.
But that's just me. That's just me, though.
Did you? I hate to have you repeat yourself, but did you talk about this Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson business on your show?
Absolutely.
And you for it?
Absolutely. I got nothing wrong with two legends doing. I mean, look. Whoever's gonna buy it, that is on them.
No one put a gun to their head.
Exactly, and we all see Mike Tyson biting his thumb. If you want to pay
The key moment for me, though, comes when they clarify. Not done mentally, not done physically. And that distinction is massive. Passion versus prime, ego versus reality, legacy versus relevance, all colliding in a single thought. Meanwhile, the Evander reference lands like a quiet warning, without turning overly dramatic, almost suggesting that structure and rules matter more than the hype narratives. And when the conversation drifts toward eyeballs, undercards, and business ecosystems, you can feel the shift from purity talk to pure industry pragmatism. Porter isn't romanticizing it. He's normalizing it. He's not defending greatness in its prime form, but defending the right of legends to exist in their own commercial lane. That's where the real tension sits. Purists want legacy protected. Promoters want engagement metrics, and fighters want purpose along with paydays. Messy, absolutely, but strangely consistent with the direction boxing's entertainment era seems to be heading.
Fall at the end. They called the gladiator stuff. It went from a sport and they called it the breads and circuses. That's all this is. That's all Jake Paul versus Tank is. That's all Floyd versus Mike Tyson is our breads and circuses. It's entertainment. And to Shia LaBeouf, right? Everybody it's just entertainment. Entertainment's kind of a dirty word to me if it's not backed with anything with substance. If it's not, because like Shia LaBeouf recently said, someone was like, man, you were in Transformers, you were in Wall Street. And he goes, yeah, those were Hollywood films. They had no soul. They were money.
That whole residency-style Logic Porter's crew was discussing suddenly turns much sharper the moment Raleigh jumps in and starts talking about a Pacquiao match, like it's already been mentally solved. The tone shifts from accepting entertainment to talking about tactical inevitability. When Raleigh casually says Floyd would just outbox him again, it doesn't sound like disrespect to me. It feels more like stylistic realism, as if he's looking at the blueprint instead of the nostalgia posters. And the way he shrugs off all the venue hype, the sphere, the stadium, the Netflix spectacle, while still calling it dope, but basically predicting the same result. That's such a fighter mindset. To him, the glitz is just noise, while patterns reveal the truth.
Yeah, Floyd got his number. There's not gonna be anything different. You think it will end differently, or would it be a similar kind of fight? I'm not sure. I mean, like I said, I think it's going to be a similar kind of fight, but I mean, Floyd's...
Then he drops that subtle line about Floyd digging to the body early and potentially hurting Pacquiao. And I'm sitting here thinking that's actually a sneaky technical insight disguised as a simple opinion. Aging legs plus body investment equals slower entries, slower exits, slower chaos. Raleigh also frames it as Floyd deciding whether to box or press, which is low-key the coldest line in the entire clip, because it implies a control hierarchy, not equal chaos, a controlled tempo. And when he adds that at that level, you can't just walk in and knock legends out. That's pure experience logic cutting through fan fantasy in real time.
Floyd's gonna hurt him. Do you think that this is going to give, I guess, Pacquiao in his mind the closure he needed, win, lose, or draw, that he's able to get that? And
this fight isn't really about Pacquiao. It's more about what Floyd wants to do to him. If Floyd wants to box him, he's going to box. If Floyd wants to press him.
We want fireworks, but elite IQ fights usually play out like layered puzzles, especially when both fighters have already solved pieces of each other years ago. The funniest contradiction is calling it competitive, while also admitting Floyd already figured them out. It's like saying a chess match is still dramatic even if one player memorized the openings from a decade ago. Still fascinating, still massive, still a historic attention magnet. But mentally, strategically, and rhythmically, it feels less like revenge and more like a higher IQ rerun, with slightly slower bodies and even sharper thinking.
We're talking about 2 all-time legends, so it's like, you can't just go in and be like, I'm gonna knock this dude out.
So you're going to see a very high-speed chess match still, even at the age that they're at?
I don't believe it'll be high. It's gonna be a lot of them figuring each other out again.
That whole Raleigh style, Floyd already figured him out. Energy suddenly hits a colder, more grounded frequency the moment Jeff Mayweather starts talking, because now it doesn't feel like hype analysis anymore. It's family insight mixed with veteran realism. When Jeff calls the rematch kind of sad, I immediately pause, not as disrespect, but as legacy awareness coming from inside the Mayweather circle itself. He's basically saying the names are still legendary, but the fighters have aged, and that contrast alone quietly dismantles the fantasy narrative fans keep building. Then he pivots to the promotion angle, pointing out that it's not the fighter's job to be loved, it's the promoter's job to elevate them. That's a subtle industry truth most people ignore while blaming fighters for matchmaking politics. But the sharpest moment is when Jeff straight up says the fight will probably play out pretty much the same.
These 2 guys had to come back for it to be
I got this one now.
One of the biggest fights again.
Am I getting this one?
You know, with all these great young champions that's out here.
I'm roasting enough.
You know, I mean, there should be some big fights, but Manny and Floyd are bigger than anybody.
Calm, direct, no theatrics. That's the kind of confidence that doesn't need dramatic predictions. At the same time, his critique of Pacquiao's recent performances lands like a reality check wrapped in honesty. Not mockery, just the observation that the old spark isn't fully there anymore. Then, boom, he shifts into the bigger boxing issues. Inactivity, social media influence, and title opportunities coming after losses. Now the conversation stops being about nostalgia fights and starts exposing modern boxing economics. Even his take on Ryan calling out Shakur is measured, not dismissive, acknowledging it's a great fight while still stressing that young fighters need to face each other more. Suddenly, we have this fascinating collision: Raleigh's competitive certainty, Jeff's legacy realism, and the business side of boxing all tangled together. Not emotional hype, not blind nostalgia, just a layered truth where big names still sell, aging legends still attract, and the sport quietly wrestles with spectacle versus merit at the same time.
You know, both of them are not the same fighter that they once was. Their names are, but as fighters, they're not. I mean, they both they both aged. And I'm gonna be honest, the last fight when Pacquiao, when he fought Barrios, that fight looked like crap to me. I mean, he even looked like crap. I mean, it looked like, I mean, even though the fight was close, and I understand the fight being close, but the Pac...
So, when you zoom out and stitch all these voices together, the narrative stops being a simple super fight fantasy and starts looking like a layered collision of mindsets, eras, and motives. Joe and Tyson framed it like a tactical paradox, precision versus pressure, while Porter's crew basically normalized the spectacle lane, saying legends have their own audience and their own purpose, even outside peak competition. Then Raleigh comes in with that blunt fighter logic, hinting that patterns don't disappear just because nostalgia gets louder. And suddenly, the matchup feels less emotional and more stylistically predictable. And just when the hype tries to rebuild itself, Jeff Mayweather drops that grounded realism, reminding us that legendary names age even if their aura doesn't, and that business, promotion, and timing quietly shape these mega events more than pure competition narratives. That's the real tension here. Not skill versus skill alone, but legacy versus entertainment, ego versus realism, and spectacle economics versus purist expectations. One side sees history and intrigue, the other sees repetition and calculated outcomes. And somehow both perspectives can exist at the same time, without canceling each other out. It's messy, fascinating, slightly uncomfortable, and undeniably compelling in a modern boxing era where attention is currency and legacy is constantly being renegotiated in public.
And the one thing that also has changed with boxing is this. How does a guy not compete for 5 years and then walks into a title fight? When you have guys that have fought their asses off and worked their asses off to get into that position to fight for a world title.